That's a gay-ass podcast.
What? That's a gay-ass podcast. What? A really, really, really gay podcast that we call That's a Gay-Ass Podcast.
That's a gay-ass name for a gay-ass podcast.
These people online, they cannot take anything from you. I have to be reminded of that, like, literally weekly, because, like, weekly there is just, like, a bisexual woman who's, like, mad at me. It's not, it's, like, it is a leftist. And, like, all love to the left, but every time it is a leftist trying to, like, get me off the internet, and I don't know. It's not good.
Listen, I think we have to get into this because there's already a lot of talking points. Let's do a 5, a 6, a 5, 6, 7. Conor Janda, you came on That's a Gay-Ass podcast to not get canceled.
I'm not gonna get canceled.
Should we play a game and see how fast we can get the other person canceled?
Yeah.
Okay, here's my first question to get you canceled. What do you think about...
Sides? Not real. No, I'm kidding. It is real. Pro side. That was too fast. I read up sides too fast.
What's your political... No, we do, as the listeners know, we do our sluttiest conversation for post paywall to really protect the innocent.
Oh my God, so I gave them a bit of free. I gave them a free taste. So good.
You gave a bit of free, but so 2 controversial questions. Number 1, you don't think sides are real. Number 2, did you ask me to record this at 9 a.m. Pacific because you wanted to look better than me?
No, it's because I'm doing 75 hard, which is just like where you have an eating disorder but call it a challenge. So I've been getting up like really early in the morning and like going to the gym because I'm trying to live like a CEO. I would hate hearing what I'm saying. Like, so I would be mad at me. So like, if you're mad, totally. But for 75 days, I'm trying to like be an early riser, and I'm sorry.
Oh, well, I accept the apology, but I also think it's brave of you to admit that challenges can be disordered. Like, do you think Whole30 was disordered?
I think that's an eating disorder. That is not only is that an eating disorder, this is where the NDAs come out. I used to work, Whole30 is insane, but I used to work at this like protein bar company. And if you don't know Whole30 is, do people know what that is?
They have to, and if they don't, it was all the rage. What year would you say Whole30 was at its peak?
2017.
Correct.
Melissa Hartwig had... do you know Melissa Hartwig?
No, but is she related to Melissa Joan?
Is Melissa Joan Hart?
Melissa Joan Hartwig.
Oh, is that her full name? Melissa Joan Hartwig.
No.
Melissa Joan Hartwig. That's so funny. You're like, oh, I don't get the bit. Wait, now I'm going to be someone that doesn't get the bit. That's humiliating. I remember why I don't like podcasts. I don't like podcasts because I'm not someone that gets the bit. So... But then, because I think I have a processing disorder, so I take everything at face value. So if someone's like kidding or whatever, I'll just be like, what? But then I seem insane. Anyway, and I'll get up to that.
Don't they call that autism?
Yeah, I think I have autism.
Cool.
But if you're mad about that, you're right, and I'm sorry.
No, I actually think that autism is having a very important moment where it's actually being honored in a way that it's like, wait, it's actually a superpower for so many people, but it was once considered disordered, and now we're like, wait a minute, those people care a lot less than I do about certain things.
Okay, but so how is it possible that I have autism but care the most? Explain that to me.
Well, then you don't have autism, you're just somehow Jewish secretly.
I was in a Jewish fraternity, but I'm Catholic. Well, you know.
Let's go back to Whole30, though. You were saying that Melissa Joan Hartwig's cousin...
Melissa Joan Hartwig, she was like the leader of Whole30. But everyone Google her. If you're not driving, Google her. If you are driving, pull over. And she's just like this gorgeous woman who lives in Utah. And also gorgeous is subjective, so whatever. But she's just like this gorgeous woman that lives in Utah. And it's like maybe a MAGA, but I could be wrong. And she created this diet where you like only eat whole foods for 30 days. So you can have like unlimited fruit and stuff. Like it's basically Weight Watchers for rich people. And it's like Gwyneth Paltrow meets Weight Watchers. But then I worked at a protein bar company when I was in Chicago, and they paid her a lot of money to make the protein bar, to say that the protein bars were Whole30. And I'm like, so this is a business. This is a scheme. We're all being schemed. And I signed an NDA, but this was a couple years ago. So I feel like I can kind of come out and say the truth now. Also,
I don't know how NDAs work. I hope that it works in that way, that 2 years later you still can't get arrested. Can you confirm or deny, was the protein bar actually Whole30 compliant?
What is that? Like, what does that even mean? Who knows? I don't know. Like,
well, I'm so blessed that I did not fall asunder to the Whole30 machine. I had friends who were eating bacon wrapped dates too long.
Yeah, that's like I worked at, it's funny that you say that because I worked at RX Bar, which was like a date-based bar. And
No,
then you
RX
know
had a
those?
moment too. Of
Yeah, it
course.
was 2017. And then I worked at Chomps, which is like they make meat sticks. So like not bacon, but like I work the date, if you were wrapping your dates with meat sticks, that was me.
Well, you gave me an A to C for a second because do you remember Whole 30 Take Two? Do you remember how RX bars made your teeth look like you hadn't been to a dentist ever? You were just
Yeah, and that
covered
then they would
in.
have, yeah, you'd look insane. And they would have sometimes, because you were working with very natural products, shout out, they would have like date pits in them, like little, and people would break their teeth on them.
Yeah, well, I remember every time I would eat a one of those RX bars, I would look insane, and it connected my memory banks to a sex party story where I am new to the slut game, which we'll talk about. But I was at one of my first ever sex parties, in the last year, and the host was giving out the chewiest, fudgiest chocolate brownies you've ever seen, and every single person was like, "No, thank you," because what do
No.
you want to do? Walk around a sex party with black gums?
He's the mole. He's trying to undermine you. Like me
Yeah.
setting this at 9 in the morning.
Yeah.
He's
Well,
trying
and
to
also for the
undermine me.
girlies
Sex
to
party.
know, Connor is in Eastern time zone. I'm in
I'm in New York at my
Pacific.
cousin's house. So if you think that my setup looks bad, this is my cousin's house. I don't live here. So if you think it's weird that my TV's on the wall, like kind of giving cracked over there, my cousin lives like that. Sorry.
And by the way, tell your
People
cousin to thank them so much for letting you record there.
Thank you, cousin. So, like, people love to be mad about the wire hanging out at the wall, but I think that there's nothing stupider than those stupid white fucking things that people put on top of the wire as if it's like we're in a suburban basement. No, I'm good. This is a wire household.
But see, Connor, this is what I like about you is that you say it like it is and you call out the truth, which is that you are not above having exposed wires. And I think
I'm
that you
not.
also are someone who talks about your truth, which is that you have two what? Gay brothers. You have what? A dad that was a stay-at-home dad. Your
Oh
mother
my
was
God.
constantly in depositions as a lawyer for Pfizer. You grew up Catholic. You were in a fraternity. You
Oh my
um,
God.
have so much you were a MyFitnessPal person, meaning you had an eating disorder for many years.
Yeah,
Connor, I've done research, I've been a fan, and I want to let
that's
you
so
know that
nice.
for this podcast we talk about a lot of our herstories, and I want to ask you the podcast question to start us off, which is, Conor Janda, whose fault is it that you're gay? Who do we blame, even, babe?
I feel like the answer like has to be my dad or my mom. Like, however you want to look at it. Like, I grew up in a house with very non-traditional gender roles, and I worry that when I say that, there's going to be like a stay-at-home dad who is listening to the gay ass podcast right now and be like, "Oh, so am I going to turn my kids gay?" I'm not saying that. I just think that we grew up in a house where we were kind of allowed to like question norms, not question norms, because that's too like philosophical. Like, I didn't have an expectation of what I was supposed to do as a man, so I feel that that created an environment for kids to come out of the closet.
I do love that you're saying I don't want any stay-at-home dads to think that they will make their kids gay when you are a
You
part
won't.
of three gay children.
I know. I know, like I'm worried that the government is going to come for us because it does feel like it's
Well,
sort of a nature
maybe they
nurture.
should, because if the government doesn't like gay kids, we're learning from the Janda clan what not to do.
I
But
know.
you can you give us? I mean, there's so much to unpack because I love this lore. Was your dad ever a career woman, or did he know going into the marriage with your mom that she would be the breadwinner?
Okay, so my parents met when they were in college. They were an undergraduate in Philadelphia, and my mom kind of pursued my dad to be pursued by a lawyer. One could be so lucky. And
Hot.
yeah, very hot. And then she went to law school in the South, and he waited for her, which was easy to do because he had like he was a Catholic school teacher. He studied finance and then was started teaching at a Catholic school, which is like I don't know how that I actually don't know how that happened. I should ask questions.
Okay.
Um, and then they got married, and he was actually a stay-at-home dad for many years. However, he did ultimately start teaching high school, and he now does teach school. And like when I was a kid, he would be like a substitute teacher sometimes at my school, which is like kind of humiliating, but like also beautiful and like all love. But yeah, so that's was that. Wait, what was the question? I do have
I
autism.
don't even. I don't even. I don't even care what the question was because that already gave us so many follow-ups. When your dad would substitute teach at your own school, what class, what subject was he teaching, and was he ever your substitute teacher?
I feel like he must have been my substitute. Like, I think he taught 10th grade English at my high school. And I feel like he must have subbed at my like Catholic grade school. Like, I vaguely remember him. Like, he did sub there. I don't know if he ever subbed my class.
Yeah.
Um,
He must have been beloved, though, right? To be a 10th grade English teacher, you're either beloved or hated. And to have three gay sons and be like substituting at some point and having a powerful wife, that it's giving beloved.
I think he is very beloved. He's honestly the best man that I've ever met. I'm not even kidding. I think it is like in my family of like, I think he's a better, I'm sorry, like, I hope my brothers don't listen to this. I think he's a better ally than my brothers. He's like asking people's pronouns. He's open to change. He's listening. He's learning. My brothers are gay guys that live in DC. I don't know if you've met a DC gay guy. They're not exactly like the most, they're not the most, they're not the queerest people in the world. I think my dad is more queer adjacent than some DC
Than your
brothers,
DC gay
people that are.
brothers. Well, do your
Yeah,
brothers love to wear
yeah.
a polo shirt?
I think that they're closer to that. They're closer to like, I think they're more, how would I say this? I think like more millennial. I'm millennial. I am millennial. And like my older brother's millennial, my younger brother's cusp. But I do think like the New York, LA of it all, and I don't mean like, oh, I'm so young, like Peter Pan syndrome. I think you're just like more aware of like the queer, the trans, the non-binary. You're more like there's just, and I think that kind of is there's like more of a Gen Z awareness to like the nuance of the queer
I
community.
see. Whereas some DC gays are less aware and more just worried about what's happening in the caucus.
Yeah, the caucus, and like they're going to Vita Fitness, and they all go to the same
Yeah.
dermatologist for Botox. Like
Yeah.
it's just a different world.
Can I tell you something really real? Which is
Please,
that I
finally.
had, when we talk about the coastals of it all, and this is really real, Connor, I never pit LA and New York against each other because it's not only boring, but who gives a fuck? But
Yeah.
I am sort of new to meeting a lot of gay people. I think in a previous part of my life, I was very much seeing the same 4 or 5 people, loving them deeply. But now
Yeah.
I'm like going out more, I'm meeting more people. And I came across a New York gay recently in LA. He was visiting LA. And I went up to say hi because I knew we had mutual friends and I've seen him on Instagram. And he, as I was asking him like questions just to be like myself, I'm like, now that we've been talking for a few minutes, I just like to like ask questions and be a silly, chatty Kathy. I'm doing my
Oh.
thing, being myself, and he interrupts me and goes, "What do you want from me?"
Wait, can you have to say their name. What's the point of a podcast if we're not going to say names?
Baby, this is the only reason why I know you're newer to podcast is because you never say names. You
Wait,
tell
here's the thing.
story, you don't say name.
I had an unsuccessful podcast for like so many years, and I'm not upset about it. Like, not every seed will grow.
Oh my God, I said
Wait,
you're
am
new to
I?
podcasting. Are you mad at me?
No, 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 no. I would like the podcast scrubbed from the internet. Like, it's like I'm sure I was naming people left and right. It would cause my dad a lot of stress, actually. My dad will be so excited about this because he was the only person who was upset when the podcast ended was my dad, and like he will be so excited to listen to this. You'll get a new
Wait, can I
fan
then
in
interrupt
my
for a second
father.
and say that when we talk about the good straight men, we give them their due. And for a quick second, we're going to give Conor Janda's dad. What's your dad's name?
John. Wait, don't Google him though. I'm worried he's gonna get in trouble
We're
at
not going to
work. He
Google, but
won't
we're going to
find
say, Mr. Janda, thank you for being kind and ally
He's
and
ally.
open and beloved and substitute teaching and creating 3 gay sons. Sure, 2 of them went to DC, which is not your fault. But
It's not
we
his
want to
fault.
thank the good straight men, and Mr. Janda, you are one of them, and we appreciate you because you are doing what a lot of straight men can't do, which is what? Be nice to us.
Which is Venmo me $100 every other week for therapy. He's killing it. Killing
Killing
it
it.
with my
But I
mom's
interrupted
money.
you. So you wanted me you wanted me to name the person, which I will not do. Um,
I
but
think
do
you're
you
being
think?
punished for being nice. I actually, so that story was really upsetting.
Thank you. Well, producer Nathaniel agrees that I'm somewhat of a people pleaser.
Wait, but I'm
And
nice too. Okay, wait, can I tell a story now that I realize that this is the only forum where this story would ever make sense to tell?
tell me, Connor.
And you have to be honest if like cut this out if it's boring. Okay, so I actually I have a hard time in like I have a hard time in all gay male spaces. That's hard for me. I have a hard time in all spaces of any men. I don't know that an Eagles tailgate looks so different than a Fire Island underwear party. Like men in a room together, like none of that feels correct to me. And I'm so sorry if you're at home being mad. But so then one time I go to this like garden party and it's just like all these like gay guys. And I was like, I'm going to do a good job. I took a beta blocker. I was like, I'm going to like be nice and ask people questions and have conversations. And so then I was talking to this guy and this guy, I always try to connect. Like always be like, where do you work? What do you do? Who do you know? Like I'll find a point of connection, whatever. And so I was like, asked this one guy, I was like, he said he lived in Chinatown. I said, I work near Chinatown. He said, where? I said, Bowery and Houston. And then this other gay guy was like, where's Bowery and Houston? I said, oh, it's near the Whole Foods. And he said, obviously I was joking. I know Bowery and Houston. So like I don't know if this registers as like as viscerally uncomfortable as it felt in the moment, but I was like, wait, I'm the idiot? Because I don't know what geography you know. And I guess like that is how a certain group of gay men interact with each other, where it's just like, but then I felt insane. I was like, I'm an idiot. I don't understand this man's
But see,
joke.
Connor, this is first of all a good story. I want to commend you on the story. Second of all, I do think that's a classic gay trope, because I had a very similar thing, which is I was at the same gay event where the guy said, what do you want from me? And a different gay guy who was actually very nice. I did a bit where I wrote down a phone number. There were like crayons that you could write on a table.
Yeah.
And I wrote down a phone number. I went 310 555 boo 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 boo. And I went, text me and I'll suck your dick. And he goes, oh, so are you going to actually suck their dick? And I went, oh, sweetie, no. When you put 555, that means that the phone number isn't real. And he goes, I know. Turns out this man's like a very high-powered executive in Hollywood, and I was like, oh my god. Well, I was like, oh my god, and here I am mansplaining to you a 555 phone number like they use in the movies, and like you can't do that in LA. But here's the deal: he laughed it off and was just like doing it to get a rise out of me, and so. I think gay men like to get rises out of each other, but sometimes we perceive it as a threat. And so maybe Connor, and I'm asking this as a full, like, devil's ad, but do you think that he was just trying to A to C for you to have a bit of a banter and you took it personally? That's a devil's ad.
Well, the other example of this, and this is actually the same friend group of gay guys, I was at the DNC LGBTQ gala, which I would like to never return to again in my entire life. But I'm so happy I was an honor to be there. But this gay guy was like, oh, we got here late. We were just at Charlie XCX doing coke. And I said, oh, cool. And then he gave me this look like he was like, no, I'm obviously kidding. He didn't say he's obviously kidding. Not to be a bitch. I'm a rising comedian I'm a star in this world. And I know a lot of people who know Charlie XCX and probably do coke with her. Like, I just didn't seem that crazy that a gay guy in New York would do coke with her. Like, and I know now I'm like, yeah, that was obviously a joke. But like these gay guys, they do make jokes that I don't get. Like, and then I just like take it at face value. But I'm just like, okay. And then,
but here's
and then
my
I
question.
feel insane. Am I autistic?
But the thing is,
this isn't autism.
We're learning.
Test. You're a psychiatrist.
Girl, in a different life, I would be if I had more time, energy, and money to go to school, I would become a psychiatrist or a psychologist. Or I do love to tell people they have autism when I have no reason to tell them that. But do you think part of this is just as us being gay guys in gay spaces, but it's also the pandemic ruined our ability to be social? Because I kind of think that.
Here's the thing. Like, I think that is true okay, so I teach Pilates kind of, and I feel like those people, I really see how COVID messed them up. Like, they can't say hi to each other. They can't be off their phones for 45 minutes. Like, it's very bizarre. I feel like I kind of want to yes and just for the purpose of the conversation, but I feel like I was always socially so guarded and anxious and weird. And as I get older, I am still that. So I just can't escape that.
I know. Thank you for honoring my theory and also your truth, which is that you need to take a beta blocker to go to a garden party.
Yeah.
I've been hearing more about beta blockers, and it sounds like something I would love.
They're amazing.
Are you getting it on the black market or through a doctor? How are you doing it?
I'm getting it from like a doctor who only texts me from the internet. And
okay.
It's all called gokick.com. They are amazing, and everyone should take them if you want. I feel like they dampen me a little bit. Like, I don't think I'm particularly sharp, hence maybe why I don't understand that man's stupid joke about geography. But like, they are really nice if you just need to feel kind of like calm. I feel like my fight or flight is extremely responsive. It's very easy to, it's a landmine. And
Yeah.
I don't know if I can say that. No, I think you can. And then, I'm sorry. God, it's weirder to call it out. And then, and so yeah, it's really great. They just make your insides feel like calm.
Which is why I smoke weed, if I'm being honest. But then sometimes it has the reverse effect. But
It always has a reverse effect for me. Last time I smoked
Really?
weed, I lived with this guy who we stopped living together because he went on the Frozen tour, and he's a gay guy. Maybe you know him. And I thought he was trying to kill me, and he wasn't. He was trying to help me, so I can't smoke weed anymore.
Oh, so while you were smoking weed, you felt that you were going to be murdered.
Yeah.
Luckily, I haven't had that experience. It's more that I'm either like too chatty or just like this whole table would rather see me dead. So I guess I do think people are going to kill me too. You're right. It's not, actually that happened to me on mushrooms, if I'm being honest. I took a mushroom chocolate from a friend right before a dinner, not realizing I was the only person at the table who ate the mushroom chocolate. And then throughout the meal, I was more and more convinced that every single thing that I said was really embarrassing, and that I then thought to myself, I should apologize to these people after the dinner because I'm being so horrible. Then, after the dinner ends, we bring out dessert. We're at an Airbnb in Palm Springs, by the way. We bring out dessert. And the dessert is like a decorating your cookie situation because we're gay guys and we need to have an activity. And I realized that this Airbnb has run out of paper towels. And instead of being normal, just saying we've got something like a dish towel, we don't need a paper towel. Instead of being normal, the mushrooms made me feel so embarrassed that we did not have paper towels. I got into the car without telling anybody, drove to the Rite Aid,
Oh
2
my
minutes down the
God.
road, tripping on mushrooms. I'm not proud of it. And then came back. No one knew I had left, but how they did know that I had left is because the headlights of the car were in the fucking window of the dining room that we were sitting in, and people saw my mushroomed ass in the car, in the driver's seat of a car, with a pallet size of paper towels, because that's the only thing I could find, which was 32 rolls. I come into the dinner party with 32 rolls of paper towels. People said, "Where did you go?" I said, "We didn't have any," and then I had a panic attack outside.
Wait, that was the most upsetting story that I've actually ever heard in my entire life. And I I can't do mushrooms around other people. And I think that's why.
Well, I learned that too, that there's certain settings I really shouldn't do it in, and that's when you're the only person doing mushrooms at a dinner party in Palm Springs.
The first time I ever did mushrooms, I went to the Fire Island Dance Festival, and the whole time I was just like, don't scream, don't scream, don't scream. And I was like, don't yell out. Ugh. But I'm sober
like
from
to calm
alcohol,
down.
but not from mushrooms.
Oh, okay. So you're a comedian who is sober from alcohol. You are joining many stand-ups who are alcoholics. Or would you? I'm so sorry
Yeah.
if that was not your truth. Would you say you're a
No, it
recovering
is.
alcoholic? Okay.
Yes, I was an alcoholic, and I think that because I got sober so young, people tried to take that from me. And I'm like, no, I trust everyone that knew me at the time was like, he's an alcoholic. I would trust us. And I was in jail. I was in the hospital. I was getting kicked out of school. I was like a disaster. I could not stop drinking. But I think I was lucky because I was so skinny because I was like for sure anorexic. See, the internet
Right.
always never lets you talk about anorexia. Like Instagram will, but I think podcasting will. So I was so little, and this is the last place you can talk about an eating disorder. I was so little that I would just get so drunk all the time that like I could not ignore my addiction to alcohol because there were all these like I feel like you can be a functional alcoholic for years, but because I was so little, I couldn't do that, which I think is a blessing in retrospect.
In a way, well, it's like, it's kind of you can mix and match certain vices, but
Yeah.
eating disorder plus alcoholism is not exactly a mix and match that can go very far.
Yes. And the time that I did mushrooms, I was on Fire Island. I'm so excited to tell this on this podcast with this guy who I think knows you. And I was with him like 4 years ago. Had to be 4 years ago. And he was like, he's in PR and he's like, I'm going to get you on the gay ass podcast. I was like, okay. And then I got on myself years later by being a star. And I hope.
Okay, well,
I just, like,
once
need
we
to-
stop recording, you're going to tell me his name because I famously
So we like
don't want to.
really don't do names at all.
Well, now
we're, like,
tell me to
obsessed
me,
with
then I'll
not doing
bleep it out
names.
if I don't. Tell me the name now, then I'll bleep it out if
His
I don't
name
think it
was
should be.
Mike. His first name was Mike. And he worked in PR in New York.
Oh, I actually think
Gay
I
guys
might
are always named
know.
Mike.
And they work in PR. If I'm
He's
thinking of
so
the right
sweet.
Mike, I adore him, and
He's
I'm
so
he
great.
never reached out about you. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think he reached out about you.
I don't do, yeah, he's like so great.
Well, we love
but,
him.
like,
We
no
love
worries.
Mike's in PR. Mike's in PR. We shot them out. Well,
So I
listen,
guess
you're
we
getting
can
so.
name names if we only say nice things. Like, is that the rule about names? You can say names if you just like talk about how great they are.
Well, I guess what you're kind of getting to underneath it is I'm afraid of gay guys. obviously.
Oh, I'm
like,
terrified of gay guys.
like, when the guy at the bar said, "What do you want from me?" I shut the fuck up and then sort of retreated, and then, oh my God, I'm all coming back. I saw him the next night, no, 2 nights later at a different gay bar, and he just gave me one of those like Midwestern lip smiles and kept it moving. And so I'm like, oh, so he just doesn't like me, or he thinks I'm beneath him. And then I had to like do my own therapy about like you cannot let your own either trauma or insecurity like fill in the blanks about why this gay guy's being mean to you. Like, that's not my job to find out why a gay guy's being mean to me, because I've been very lucky. Most gay guys I come across are not outwardly mean to me. Like, I love being a gay guy, I really do. But when you come across a mean one, a mean gay guy hits like no other, if that's okay to say.
No, I think it's absolutely okay to say. And I think that like we're getting to sociological truths that are kind of so ahead of their time that they're not even being studied by sociologists themselves.
And that's why I should probably become a psychologist. But I think that what we're really getting to is that you're being so beautifully vulnerable by talking to us about, sure, eating disorders, alcoholism. But I want to put the paywall up so we can get into some horny Conor things. Because, Conor, people have crushes on you. People think you're very hot. When I told my friends that you were coming on this podcast, I was at a dinner party and a bunch of gay guys heard your name and they all essentially squirted. How does that feel to hear that?
That's good. I'm actually going to have to make sure that my dad does the paywall part. I'm going to be like, please pay the extra to listen to the paywall. I want him to hear that.
It's only $5, and I'm raising the price because I should, because I really want to quit my day job. But also, just since we're here for a second, for all the girlies who listen to Gay Ass Podcast regularly, not only do I love you, but you're probably wondering where the Wednesday episodes are. Right now, I've only been doing Monday for the new year. It's because I'm reworking Wednesdays, and I just want you to know it's going to come back soon. And Conor, can I ask you right now, would you come back on the podcast to be someone that chats with me? Is that okay?
Wait, I literally would love that. I love chatting with you. I actually podcasts terrify me, and I just realized that every other podcast person has always been less warm than you. I had to make it weird. I had to make it weird about other people.
It's okay.
I had to make it weird about other people.
You're relentlessly honest, and that is what I appreciate in a guest. Yeah. But let's get into the horniest part for the paywall to go up. Conor Janda, when I talk about like formative hookups or dating experiences or anything that was really hot, exciting, scary, weird, does any story come to mind for you?
Yeah, but mine is not horny at all, and it might have the opposite effect on people, and they might hang up their laptops or whatever. A formative experience, none of these are that interesting, but they were more like when I think about like, oh, that really changed me as a person. Like one time I hooked up with this guy named Eric, and he lived in Brooklyn, and he was always traveling, and we just like, I don't know, one time we hooked up and like I finished first, and here's the thing, like
for the rest of this interview, head to Substack, linked in the description. You can also watch bonus episodes with Mikey Graceffa from Death Becomes Her, Isaiah Rutledge, Sunset Boulevard's G-Min Moon. We have Derek Cage, Patrick, Nick, Thanos, Mark. They're all hot. The stories are amazing, and you should go check it out at substack.com/@EricWills, linked in the description. I love you, bye!